Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Georgie Bright, and I wanted to talk about how I traveled to Nigeria, and I would like to do a series on how I actually get everything together to travel to Nigeria, how everything started off, what led me to traveling to Nigeria. I just want to do a whole series on it, just to help people out, just in case they're not sure, because when I started out, I really relied on the lead of God, the Holy Spirit, because I really did not have no help. It wasn't much on internet or YouTube to kind of guide you. A few people that I looked at a little bit, but a lot of it is kind of like I had to pray and ask God to help me. First and foremost, even before I had started and I made a decision of I wanted to go, I had prayed and asked God, was this the right thing to do? It was important for me to hear from God to see whether or not this was the right thing to do, because He know the beginning and the end. I don't know. He knows the results of, our actions. So it was just important for me to get that okay from the Lord. And I did, which I did. So first of all, I would like to discuss me meeting my husband. So what led me to meet with my husband, due to the fact that when it comes down to meeting people over the internet, that's not me. I had no desire to do that. I really honestly didn't believe in doing that because I thought it was dangerous, or I don't know, maybe one way or another, either it's dangerous or you get caught up in some type of scam. I wasn't interested in that. But what led me was this other man from the continent of Africa. He was from Ghana, and he was dressed in his priestly suit. So that caught my attention, because normally if I do, whether I get messages from people in the States, outside the States, the continent of Africa, it doesn't matter. I'm not responding to it. I'm either going to ignore it. I might not even delete it, because being on Messenger is not something that I really used to doing, or being on Messenger. So it's just like, okay, I thought they were like robots. That's like a robot scamming type situation. They wasn't real people. I don't know, but either or, I wasn't on it. So when I had looked at this man, he was dressed like a priest, and he was messaging me. I'm like, what in the world? What the heck is this? Like, he got on a priest suit. So I responded. He responded. I don't know, probably messaged me like, hello, and I was like, are you a priest? So he was like, I'm a pastor. So it interested me, and so much that he said, oh, I can see myself with you, and you can be the first lady. No, whatever. No. And FaceTime me. And I'm thinking like, wow, he's real. Like, maybe he's real because he's asked me to FaceTime, which later on in my research, I found that even you FaceTiming people, you gotta be careful, because there's a way of people, they would alter the video, make you think that you're actually FaceTiming them, and it's not really them. I mean, so anyway, I never FaceTime him, because after talking to him, I'm like, it seemed like he real, but I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested at all. I was just so caught on the fact that whilst this pastor FaceTiming me, and he's FaceTiming me, and it's like, aren't you afraid of getting caught up in something? I mean, I'm quite sure I wasn't the only one he FaceTiming. You sitting there FaceTiming women on the internet. You're supposed to be a pastor. You should be looking out for your mental. You should be protecting your mental. I believe I told him that. And I don't know. I wasn't interested at all. So at the same time of him messaging me, my husband messaged me. And when he messaged me with something that wasn't no, hey, sweetie, baby, all this buttery type talk. It was more like how are you doing in this pandemic? So when I looked at his message, and then I started looking at his profile, and I started looking at the fact that his profile looked legit. Like, he had like nice number of friends. He had nice number of pictures that dated back years and years ago. Like, years ago, when he was young, like young pictures. So I'm like, okay, he looked true to himself. So I finally responded to him, and this was like 3 years ago, around the time when I went to Colorado. As I was on the road, when I responded back to him, I was on the road going to Colorado. The conversation was very, very interesting, but normal. It's kind of like I felt like I was conversating with somebody that's down the street. And the fact that by him being from the continent of Africa, it was kind of like, I don't know, I was surprised that the sense of humor he had. I was just surprised of the normalcy of what I'm used to and how relatable he was. I was just shocked about that. So our conversation led to a friendship that lasted for months, and then it lasted for almost a year. So I would say maybe after about 8 or 9 months, it seemed like he started expressing interest. So, and around that time I was interested. So I didn't tell many people about this friendship I had with my husband. I told my cousin and maybe a few other people. So my cousin was saying that, yes, this lady at her job, she about to get married, and she about to go to Nigeria to marry her husband. And I was like, really? Like, wow. I was to take her number. She said to call. So I did that. Maybe a day or so, I called her. And I had a long conversation with this woman because at this time, in between time, this is what, the 8th or 9th month, in between time, I was like researching and just researching the heck out of the Nigerian culture. I was researching not only the Nigerian culture, but even his tribe. I was even researching that. Like, I was just trying to get to know everything, like who I'm dealing with. Even the scamming aspect, I think is very important for you to do your homework and research. People from that country, they got 1,000,001 scams. And if you're not if you don't educate yourself about the different scams that they have, you will fall victim. They are very smart, very clever people, and you'll fall victim. And overall, I feel like you should use, I don't care how much buttery somebody spread on you, you should use your common sense. Use your common sense. Use your common sense. You will not, if somebody that's in the next city from you contact you and say, can I have money? This is what's going on with me. Would you send money to that person? You don't know that person. Would you send money to that person? Some of y'all barely would want to give to somebody on the streets. Like somebody homeless on the street, they ask you, they say, I'm hungry. Some of you barely want to give to the homeless. So it's like, why would you give to somebody that's in a whole nother country? And that's a red flag for them to be even ask you for such things like money or whatever. I don't care how much they struggling. Not saying I don't care, but they was living before they even met you. They was living, so just be cautious and careful of that. And this don't have nothing to do, it doesn't have, I'm not blowing down on people that send their husband, their spouse, their fiance, take care of them, because me being in that country, it is hard. People do struggle. People die every day from starvation. That is true. But just be cautious. Like, just first use your common sense. Secondly, pray. Ask the Holy Spirit. Pray about the situation. So moving right along, I talked to this lady. This lady was telling me all these things that she been and what goes down, and just a whole bunch of things that she about to get married, and I just was like, wow, like, that's dope. So at the end of the conversation, she was like, if I want, I could come and join her as she go down, when she go and get married. And I was like, yeah, like, I was too pumped. And the thing about it, ever since I was younger, I always said I wanted to go to Africa. I was always interested in it. I always, whether the movies that I watched and collected, or over the years, I mean, from time that I was 6 or 7, watching Serafina over and over and over and over, breaking the tape. I was always interested. It's not something that I decided because I met my husband. I always was interested in going to Africa. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, hang up the phone, called my husband, and was like, I believe I'm going to see you. I think I'm coming to see you. So he was like happy for that. He was happy. I was happy. But over the few days, I was trying to reach this particular lady, and she would not answer the phone. She wasn't trying to reach out. I was texting her. She disappeared. Like in thin air, she disappeared. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, but me being me, I don't like defeat. I do not like defeat. I don't like hearing no. If I hear no, you have to explain to me why is a no. I can accept a no, but you have to explain to me. You have to give me a good reason why is a no. So I said, you know what? By even talking to her And I think it was God, because if I would have never talked to her, I probably would have never went. It's like me talking to her sparked. Me talking to her and her basically disappearing on me, ghosting me, sparked a fire under me to be able to be determined to get there by myself. Like, I'm like, oh no, I'm not about to be defeated. So, at the beginning, I knew the first thing I needed to do was get a passport. I didn't have a passport. So that was the first thing I had to do. I had to get a passport. Okay. So the second thing was I wanted to know about, I believe it was about the plane ticket. So I had never flew on a plane. This is going to be my first time flying on a plane. So I had to read everything about flying on a plane and flying international. I had to learn everything. It's like I was reading a book. I felt like through this whole process, I probably read a big thick book. So I found out about, okay, what the different routes I could go, as far as my getting a plane ticket, what different routes I could go. And then I ran across TSA. So from what I learned, that TSA is basically where you go through all the checks, and then they tell you to strip this and do this and do that. When you have TSA, you don't have to do all those things. So I said, I'm going to buy that, because I don't want to have to go through this. I don't want to have to go through taking my shoes off, taking this off, taking that off. So I purchased that. I got it's like they did a background check on me. And then I was able to purchase it. And anytime when the process, it took like maybe a week to process. When the process, I had got a number, and on that number, I'm able to put the number, my processor number, on my plane ticket. Like, for instance, I'm like have a account with Delta, so my passport number is in the database. It's in the database. The TSA number is in the database. So anytime I fly, it's going to be automatically connected to my plane ticket. And when they see it, it's like, oh, okay, you go over to this line. The line is always shorter. It's always faster. You don't have to go through all that stripping and checking and searching. You don't have to go through all that. So anyway, I got that. I purchased that. And next, I looked and noticed, because what I did, I went on the travel site, along with reading about the different section of things that I had to do, like the plane ticket, the passport, and all that. I went on travel site, and I was just checking off the list. So next on the list was the immunization. So I went and I got a yellow fever, which now I don't think is that important, or they not really checking for that. But my first visit, they definitely were checking for it. They definitely asked for it. But my other visits lately, I have not been, they haven't been asked about the yellow fever, but I bring my card anyway. And the other things I didn't get. The only thing I got was the malaria pills to prevent malaria. I heard was out there was Malarone and I don't know, some other stuff. But I got the immunization at, I think it's called Travel Passport. So I got I got the shot, got the Malarone. No, I went to my primary doctor to get the malaria pills to prevent malaria. Next on the list was I had to get an invitation letter from my husband. And he wrote the invitation letter and he sent it via WhatsApp. He scanned it and sent it over WhatsApp. And I was able to print it out. And because next brought the plane ticket. The next thing I finally brought the plane ticket. My husband had got a hotel. Yeah, he had got a hotel. And after that, the plane ticket and the hotel, that's when I wanted to get a visa. And how I stumbled upon that. I read about it. I didn't understand about visas at all. Like, I didn't understand where to go, how to do it, how to work. I didn't understand none of that. None of that. So I had kept calling the airline, and asking different people, asking different attendants, do you need a visa to go to Nigeria? Everybody said, I don't know. I was like, I'm reading that you need a visa, but everybody saying they don't know. I don't want to get stuck. I'm just asking now. So I finally read it on the travel guide that you need a visa. So, mind you, at this time, it was the pandemic. This is the middle of the pandemic when this was happening. All the visa places were basically closed. I believe that the OIS, which I didn't never go through, I believe that was open. I didn't never come across it. I didn't know nothing about it, so I didn't go through them. And with them, I believe you have to travel to different states to get an interview and all that. I didn't want to do that anyway. So I went to Passport Embassy. Passport Embassy is based, the one that's assigned to Ohio is based in California. And the thing about that, you're going to pay a little more to to go through them, but you don't have to travel. You don't have to go through the interview, biometric interview, and you don't have to travel back and forth which I think is kind of like the same difference, because when you think about traveling expenses, buying a plane ticket or even driving, you're going to pay the exact same thing if you don't travel or whatever. So it was a little bit more. Point being, it was a little bit more. I got it. They told me to gather all my paperwork, everything that I named, as far as the letter, the invitation letter, my passport, my original passport I had to send off, which was like so mind blowing, because it took so long for my passport to come. It finally came, and now I got to send it off to somebody else and trust that person to bring my passport back, return my passport back. But anyway, I had to do the passport, invitation letter, passport, hotel. Was it the hotel arrangements I did? I probably put it in there too. The itinerary for the plane ticket. What else? Proof that I could finance myself, like my bank statement. I believe that's it. And also the fee that they charged me. So I mailed all that off. And in 11 days, all that got returned to me via FedEx. It was returned to me. So at that time, it was close to time. It's like, okay, everything's set. Got my passport, got my plane ticket. My husband, which at the time wasn't my husband, he got a hotel, malaria pills, and the last thing I had to do was get a COVID test, because definitely you have to have a COVID test before you go. At that time, it could be 72 hours. Within the 72 hours, and they even pushed it like it could even be 94. I think they said 94 at the most. I think so, but definitely 72 hours. Within that 72-hour window, I had to have been tested and got my results to present on the airplane. So So that, after that, collecting all those stuff, the day was coming, whereas I got the COVID test, but it was not coming. Like, it did not just, it didn't come like it's supposed to came. It's supposed to came within a day or two. And then the third day, I'm like, oh my God, like, what is going on? So finally, I looked on the airline ticket. Delta is good for changing the dates. But the way that this was changed, the date was changed, it was like 2 days later, which I never experienced that. I flew to Delta, oh my God, back and forth. Well, it's been 4 visits. That never happened. So it was changed 2 times. I mean, for 2 days. So I called them, and it was like, I looked at the last minute. So, like, I encourage everybody, the week before, look every day. Look every day. Make sure you don't have a change. Look through your email to make sure you never have an email change. But anyways, I looked, and basically it was changed 2 days. So I called them, wait on hold forever, called them, was going back and forth with this one lady, this one young lady. She kept on saying, ma'am, just go ahead, take the time, because if I got a earlier flight, she said, I got an earlier flight, but if you take this earlier flight and your COVID test is not done, you're going to have a problem. And at first I was like, I don't care, it's going to be here, but she like, ma'am, I will encourage you to take the later flight. She said, I promise you. She said this about 4 times. I was heated, and I said, you know what? Okay. I was so mad. I called my husband. I was like, this is what's going on, and I'm so angry. So it's delayed, this, that, and the other, and third, whatever. He like, calm down. It's gonna be okay. It's fine. It's this, that, and the other. So I promise you that I had calmed down and was sitting there, and it got quiet on the phone. And so then I was like, maybe it's a reason why I should be going this late. Maybe it's a reason. I would say about anywhere between 2 or 5 minutes later, my daughter walked in the room. And when she walked in the room, she said, my sister was on the phone. She said, it's important. My sister's on the phone. My sister then said, I need for you to come, and I need for you to meet me at either my house or go to the hospital, because my mother got rushed to the hospital. And I'm like, and I just sat there like, just dumbfounded. So when I went to her house, and I just did not, I didn't feel right. I just didn't feel right. So I went to, when we got in her car, we was driving. I feel like she knew my mom had passed. My mom had died. So halfway there, that's what she just said. She just told us. She just told us. So, she told us, and when I went to the hospital, I went to the hospital and I saw my mom. And I don't know, it just was so crazy because I don't know, I was just in shock. And my sister, it's like everybody was acting so just weird. Of course, because our mom died. Everybody was acting really weird. And I just was looking around. It felt like an outer body experience. Nobody was acting like their normal self. So, yeah, everybody was not like acting their normal self. Everybody was just acting just weird. And it's to be expected. We all lost our mom, so it's just to be expected. And like I said, I felt like I had an outer body experience. It felt like as if like I'm moving, but I'm not really moving. I'm moving outside my body. And at the time, I didn't know. I was saying my goodbyes when I saw her in the hospital. But yeah, I was saying my goodbyes right then and there in the hospital. So I remember going home and the next day, and I was just thinking like, well, how is it that I could go and my mom just died? Like, how could I go? And I promise you, people may not understand it, but I heard the Lord said, you must go. I have something to show you. And I heard this before because one day I was walking. I was taking a walk that in a trail that's in Cleveland. And I heard the Lord say, it's something I have to show you. When you get there, it's something I have to show you that He wants me to go. And I heard that I must go at that time. So I'm thinking like, I'm still, even though I heard it's like, I don't know if this is right. How is that possible? So my cousin called me and she was like upset. And she said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. And I know you just lost your mom, but you still have to go. Like, you have to go. I feel in my spirit that you have to go. So I had saw that as confirmation. So I went. I left. I went. And I'm glad I went because ain't no telling how I would have been if I would have stayed. Ain't no telling what would have happened. Especially the things that was going on at the time with my family. There's no telling. If I would have been here, it probably would have went all the way left. So it was just best that I feel like when I got there and the things that I seen and what I had before was praying and hearing from God about before, it was like when I got there, it was confirmation, like, wow, this is the reason why I'm here. I see why I'm here. I see it. So yeah. I have much more. Oh my God, I have so much more to discuss. I have so much more to educate about. So I'm gonna just end this right here, and I will speak to y'all later. And it's always a pleasure to come and talk. It's like, honestly, it's like therapy. It feel like therapy to even do this. And also, I'm just hoping and praying and asking God that I'm just even do this. I'm ministering and helping somebody out. So, thank you for your time. If you want to hear more of this, please tune in. Your notification, subscribe, so you can hear more on my journey, and you can learn along the way. So until next time, I'll talk to you later. Be blessed. Hello, y'all. I am a visual person, so I included all the documents that you would need to travel. Plus, add on one, if you fully vaccinated, you will also be showing your vaccination card, or you'll upload it in a computer, and it will be attached to your plane ticket, I believe. So, like I said, I'm a visual person, so I uploaded it so people could kind of see exactly what they're going to need to travel.